Hey everybody, war number 8 here against Newn, who going into this was a 3rd ranked alliance. We were still holding down the number 1 spot going into this, but we knew it was going to be a very competitive war, so we're going to try to do our best. First match here is against Ultron on Vigorous Assault and Arc Overload, so gotta watch his unblockable, gotta watch his timer for his armor for the global, and have to watch his evade timer. So a lot to watch here. I've got some big boy boosts on. Want to try to time up an SP2, which I do correctly here. I mean, I get the intercepts, so I get the nice cruelties. The problem is, when I threw it, both of his timers were right about to reset. So he got the unstoppable from the global and he got the regen, so he went unblockable, and I put myself in not a great spot here. But one thing that you'll notice about a lot of my fights, I don't play them perfect, but get out of it with a solo, and that's the number 1 goal. Second fight here, still on path 1. It's going to be a Havoc on Masochism. We're going to be using Nimrod, who handles this fight and any fight versus a mutant pretty well. So not too worried about triggering Masochism and allowing him to regen. Just want to, take it nice and slow, get to an SP2 and do some big damage. Don't believe this fight really has anything too tricky other than watching parries because of the Masochism. So a little bit slow to start, but once we get to that SP2 with Nimrod, he handles things very well. So I mistimed the parry there, or counter to the parry, but as you'll see, this SP2 just melts him, and should be at a point where we're just going to need to get one more special 2, and it goes down very easily. Fight number 3 here, we're on path 7 in tier 2. We're facing a Psycho Man on Spite and Rise to Power. So want to be careful about knocking him down, because then any blocked hits that we take give him power. And also, obviously, Hercules activates buffs via his SP1 and his SP2. So really, it's just all about watching power. Got a power start 1 and power back boost just to try to get this fight over as quickly as possible. So here I do let him get pretty close to an SP3, which would have been an issue, but we're able to get him to throw a couple specials here back to back. I'm not going to risk it, so we're just going to block those and going to basically just finish this thing pretty quick. Not too much trouble since we were able to get those specials off, and he goes down. Continuing on path 7, we've got a thing here on Aspect of Evolution with kinetic transference, which I actually kind of enjoy fighting thing on kinetic transference, just because, sometimes you get a stingy thing who doesn't want to throw specials. Well, we can let him build it power by letting him hit into our block. So I immediately mess up my indestructible boost right off the bat, but this fight should be pretty easy as long as I stay in control, make sure I keep my locked on timer. And the only thing I wasn't 100% prepared for was that because of Aspect of Evolution, he does gain some rock stacks even when I'm locked on later as this fight gets going. Now we've got it in pretty good control, so I'm going to lock on for the second time here, and you can see he's at 10 stacks. And normally with locked on, he's not gaining any more of those stacks, but you'll see here as we get a few more hits in, he is gaining those stacks. So I throw the SP1 just to knock him down a little bit more, and yeah, it's pretty under control. We're going to run out of our locked out timer, but at this point we're just going to bait one more special. if he wants to throw it. We got him locked on, so now we feel comfortable going back in to hit him a few times. And right there, you see it did push him over 15 because of aspect of evolution, but because of locked on, he didn't go unstoppable, so it actually worked out in our favor, and we get out of there with another solo. So here we are at Mini Island. I was assigned 2 mini bosses this war, and we've got an Iceman on Safeguard, a few other things to go along with that node, but really Safeguard's the only thing that matters. Iceman doesn't have a regen, so we don't have to worry about that. He does benefit from the global, so we do have to watch the timer with his armor up, because he can go unstoppable. We're going to be taking it with Nimrod again. He's a mutant killer, and we just deal with the frostbite damage, or the cold snap damage that is, which doesn't do too much, and as long as we play this nice and safe, we should be okay. Now, throw that SP2 a little early, but everything about this fight should be pretty under control, as long as I don't make any mistakes. Iceman's been out for years, so dexing his specials is not a big deal. Just going to be watching that timer, playing around that, and building up to and launching special 2s with Nimrod. So, nothing too fancy here. Parries, want to get back to that SP2, drop that, and even though Iceman is, 4-way immune, those passive shocks still land and still do a nice little chunk of damage. So, gonna get out of here, activate another special, and get on with the war. So my final fight here is a Hulkbuster on Stunning Reflection Mini with polka dot power, and we're gonna be going in with Hercules. Don't really need any power or the ability to throw specials because Hercules' damage is so great. I immediately take a shot, had an invulnerability boost, so not a huge deal. But again, Hulkbuster is a champ that does benefit from the global, so we're gonna be watching that timer. And he's got his own armor up, so it's a lot to watch, but Herc is a beast, so as long as we kind of play a little bit smart here, watch that unstoppable, we should be all right. Hulkbuster will be placing some armor breaks on us here and there with his specials, which gives us a little free willpower healing to counteract the shocks that we're dealing with as well. But again, with no specials from Herc, we're just going to be taking it slow, seeing when and if we can build up our strength charges to increase our damage output, all while making sure that we watch that armor timer and is unstoppable. So nothing too difficult here. We're going to get out of here with another solo. We did take our first loss though. For Loki as an alliance, we played extremely well. I think we only ended with 4 deaths, but Newn played out of their mind. They went 150-0, and props to those guys. It was a great war. Just sucks that we had to come out on the losing end.